It's not often I watch musicals. I can't stand them, and as a child I would skip through them in animated films. But it's the holiday season, and I wanted to cover a Christmas zombie flick. I haven't done one since Silent Night Zombie Night a couple years ago. Yet this time I wanted to do something that had heart and passion behind it. Today's film was not lacking in that. So, can zombies do well when dancing and singing is involved? Can a cynical zombie tuber like me actually like a musical? Today, we are discussing a zombie Christmas musical? Anna and the Apocalypse. It's 2009, and culture is at the peak height of the high school musical craze. Edinburgh College of Art student Ryan McHenry has the idea to blend the concept of teenagers breaking out into song, but in a zombie apocalypse. Well known for the Vine series Ryan Gosling Won't Eat His Cereal, he made his short film Zombie Musical in 2011. Glasgow-based production company Black Camel wanted to adapt it into a feature-length film, and hired McHenry to direct and co-write it. In 2013, McHenry was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, halting production. McHenry went into remission after chemo and returned to the newly titled Anna and the Apocalypse. However, in 2015, McHenry would lose his battle with cancer. Not to let his vision fade though, Black Camel would resume production in the same year with new director John McPhail. To keep McHenry's vision alive, they avoided a darker and cynical route of writing in order to rediscover the joy that kept us on target. Screenwriter Alan McDonald had also said, "There was a hunger amongst us before Ryan got sick, and this was a project we were all just really in love with. And after we lost him, there was a feeling of unfinished business. We wanted closure from it, but really what we had to do was work out a way of acknowledging what Ryan had brought to it, his original idea, and the concept we'd all wanted to bring to fruition." The film would release at Fantastic Fest in 2017 and eventually in the UK in 2018, garnering widely positive reviews and sweeping the Toronto After Dark Film Festival, taking home 5 awards. Dedicated to Ryan McHenry's memory, his vision was complete. Now, how did the 2011 Zombie School musical turned feature-length film turn out in its full theatrical release? Let's dive in and break out. A father is taking his daughter Anna to school. She informs him that she will not be attending university in order to travel for a year, much to his dismay, saying her deceased mother would not have this. While hints of a lethal pathogen that is spreading around are being broadcasted in the background and being ignored, much like Shaun of the Dead. Anna debates if her detailed trip around Australia is worth it in exchange for being set back a year, as we are introduced to the main cast through song. They're all dealing with different issues at school. John keeping back his feelings for Anna, Chris attempting to film an important school project while in love with his girlfriend Lisa, transfer student Steph attempting to do her work around the mean vice principal, and Anna's one-night stand Nick getting in the way of Anna's day. The school is preparing for a major Christmas play with the tyrannical vice principal lording over every student. Another callback to Shaun of the Dead happens when Anna hears labored breathing, almost like a zombie's, only to see it's a girl with an inhaler. The main cast gather at the lunch table to discuss the show, recording a Christmas thing and Nick's advances. In the style of High School Musical, they all break out into song again to say there's no such thing as a Hollywood ending. Basically just the most generic way of portraying teenage angst at coming to terms with the real world before them. Ironically, right after this, Anna and Steph have an emotional banter over parents that causes Anna to accidentally and unknowingly bump into a bloody zombie. Taking yet another note from Shaun of the Dead, Anna's emotional state alongside the non-stop nature of a teenager's lifestyle causes her to not notice the undead literally being right in front of her. Much like Shaun didn't notice people acting like zombies because of his and society's already zombie-like state of existence, Anna being so caught up in her own issues and turmoils, not seeing the true dangers around her is a pretty interesting, if not poignant, detail. Anna spends the night working at a bowling alley, hating her life while she talks to John. She signs a finger gun to her head, like she's gonna off herself from hating Christmas so much, as we hear a gunshot. Transitioning to the school as the Christmas show goes on. A pretty neat cut. And then we have a penguin rap here, and then it goes to Lisa doing a really seductive song.
Your milk and made your favorite snack, so come on over and unload your sack.
To say this blindsided me is an understatement. Nothing about this movie leaned towards it being this way. Having the teenage dudes roll up like Chippendales dancers with barely any clothes while a teenage girl sings about her stalking, needing, and unblocking, I guess is an attempt at being funny, but it just feels really weird. The vice principal is manning the board and just sits there getting mad, not shutting off the sound for this. Wouldn't this all have already been planned or screened by the vice principal though? Why would teenage guys in stripper outfits have been cleared by him as a High School Musical? How did this get through? I get that it's supposed to be an R-rated twist on the whole High School Musical thing, but why this way? No offense to McHenry, God rest his soul, but I feel like that part could have been written much differently, especially with half the audience comprised of parents of these teenagers applauding the performance at the end. Well, the vice principal storms his way there to be stopped by pounding at a nearby fire door. After arguing with the banger for a bit, he opens the doors to find the zombie he knew nothing about had already moseyed on out. Honestly, I thought this would have been an interesting way to start the zombie outbreak for the story, to have this theater and all its Christmas cheer, even though it was just penguins rapping and a bunch of teenagers acting like it's one giant burlesque show, getting attacked by the undead. But we are 1/3 of the way into the movie and we only get the Christmas show wrapping up as Anna and John leave work to stop at a snow-covered playground. They reminisce and lay there having a moment together before it fades to the next morning. While I felt like nothing much had been achieved at this point, the strong suit of the movie pops up right now. This scene being the main draw of the movie, being the musical involving zombies that would be a main part of the marketing campaign that would bring people in to watch it to see how the gimmick would be pulled off. Anna wakes up late and is suddenly in a good mood as she starts singing about a brand new day. She and John both wander the neighborhood in song as people behind her are attacked by zombies. Kinda looking like the intro of Dawn of the Dead 2004 where people were being attacked in the neighborhood at the beginning of the movie, but also again bringing up my favorite movie ever. Just like Shaun of the Dead, the characters are oblivious to the world around them falling apart. While Shaun was a commentary about the zombified existence of the modern world, Anna is more of a commentary about how musicals have their characters living in their own worlds where everyone else takes part in their own individualistic splendor, kind of like how teenagers can be about themselves. Earlier in the movie, every person was a part of the song, whereas now we have zombies ravenously eating people and attacking them. The cannibalistic undead, distracted with the bodies of their victims, and allowing Anna and John to do their song uninterrupted. Now, the song itself is a bit on the nose, saying stuff like, "Everybody's dying here to tell me how to live," or "What gets you through life, never want to be, 'cause you might be dead come tomorrow," and reminding me of a line from Shaun of the Dead.
"Sorry, dear, I was miles away."
Spaced out and in their own worlds, the song only interrupting when John trips and falls. And then gets right back up, continuing the song as they go into a cemetery. They dance and cavort and caper in the burial grounds as undead wander around in the background. Harkening back to Night of the Living Dead cemetery opening, their song is ended when a zombie in a snowman costume plops to the ground in front of them. Anna goes to check on him only for the bloodied beast to slowly crawl towards them. Instead of attacking them, they just suddenly teleport to a fenced-off playground despite being in the middle of a cemetery just a few seconds ago. I don't know how they got here so quickly or if they had the zombie trail them for that long, not knowing what the threat is. But honestly, the only reason it jump cut into a playground even though they were in the middle of a cemetery was so they could have this gag of using a teeter-totter to knock the zombie's block off. Also, we can have the lead guy scream like a girl for a few seconds. Anna notes there is no signal while denying the existence of zombies, despite a decapitated head moving around right behind her. So this universe knows what zombies are. I can't wait for characters to not act like it. They discern that internet service might still be active and decide to go to the bowling alley they work at. They stop to gawk at a burning Christmas tree in the town center. I guess to remind us that this is a Christmas movie after all. Thankfully, none of the zombies from earlier that were attacking everyone just lets them have this moment.
Potassium.
Bananas are an excellent source of potassium.
We see the parents and teachers panicking over supplies at the school as the vice principal talks about a nearby military base as Anna and John arrive at the bowling alley. Steph and Chris are already hiding behind the front desk, preparing for the undead. They all get online and see the rest of the world is in chaos. Countries are war zones, some are closing borders, governments are collapsing, and some people's priorities are...
Shit.
What?
Justin Bieber's a zombie.
To see which celebrities are zombies and to go look at social media to see #EvacSelfie is trending. I find the idea of using Justin Bieber and a bunch of selfies is cringe, but you know what? I wouldn't put it past people, especially teenagers, to spend their first moments in the zombie apocalypse rushing online to see what is trending and to see which celebrity was a zombie. They stay in the bowling alley till nightfall, debating if Robert Downey Jr., Taylor Swift, or Ryan Gosling are zombies while they wallow around in a ball pit. Anna and Steph are just hanging out in the restroom when they see their boss in a stall. Apparently, she has been dead this entire time. Earlier, she was hit in the head with a shoe that knocked her out, and now she is a zombie? Is this the kind of outbreak where anyone that dies comes back? And if so, was a shoe enough to kill her? Also, why wouldn't they have secured the entire bowling alley or made sure there was no threats before sitting around all day looking at their phones? They're able to easily push the boss zombie into a toilet and then crush its head with a toilet seat, giving a swirly for that dead nerd. Zombies then proceed to break through the restroom wall like it's made of cardboard to suddenly give them a bowling alley zombie showdown. I won't lie, the kills here are pretty fun and creative. Having the pin scooper thing behead a zombie for the head to be sent back via the ball return mechanism, having the lights of the alley cast as John runs for his life, crushing a zombie's head with 2 bowling balls. You know what? It's a fun little romp and it's what I like out of zombie flicks. But for what it's worth, I expected a musical number similar to Shaun of the Dead's Barroom Brawl set to Don't Stop Me Now. That would have been kinda cool to have alongside all the zombie killing, but I'm more inclined to enjoy a bloody good fight. That night, explosions cause the power grid and cellular service to go completely down, as everyone struggles to figure out what to do. Another song begins as everyone tears up saying they all need a human voice, turning what would be a brief moment of sad solitude and anxiety over the future in another zombie flick into a 4-minute song routine. Not gonna lie, this song dragged on for me, especially with lyrics talking about looking at phone screens and society relying on tech. It's a bit on the nose. I get it because the grid just went down and now you can't rely on your phones and computers and whatnot, but you would think they would have already tried to attempt to communicate with their loved ones in the full day they had in the bowling alley and school. Not just this I need their voice song. The next morning they wake up to find the entire military has been zombified right outside the bowling alley window. Lucky for them, that giant tank that is literally dozens of yards away didn't either blow this place up or run into it, nor did any of the soldiers or zombies decide to break through the windows in the front easily. Basically just having this scene to inform the characters that the military rescue is never coming. How convenient for the plot. So the characters decide they need to get to the school anyway to get their loved ones and then drive off into the sunset. How do they plan to get around those hordes of undead? Well, they empty the ball pit and take the inflatable pool and start walking around with it above their heads. They have their entire legs exposed and cannot see where they are going at all. Sure, if they crouch down, the zombies can't see them or get them, but that isn't inflatable that could easily deflate with enough force or punctures. None of them even armed themselves with any kind of weapon or object to defend themselves. They're expecting a kiddie pool to protect them. A zombie grandma ends up sitting on them and pissing on Steph because PP funny, only to have Anna look outside and have a half zombie crawl towards them. They start panicking, not knowing what to do. These kids knew what zombies were and yet pulled this extremely boneheaded move. It's not like they don't know what to do. Each of them has a zombie kill on record. But nah, let's have them be suddenly stupid so Anna's ex-hookup Nick can save them randomly. The movie proceeds to paint Nick and his group like lunatics. John says they are looting when they're getting supplies to survive. Steph says they're killers for taking out the zombie grandparents. What? It's a zombie apocalypse that wiped out your entire military. Sure, they use supplies to kill zombies in dumb or wasteful ways, but it's leagues better than putting yourselves in dire situations just so you can use a kiddie pool to defend yourselves for the sake of a funny plot. Everyone in the movie acknowledges zombies, their existence, and how to fight them. You have blatantly said you have to destroy the brain. But when more zombies show up, the main cast just want to go back under the pool and not defend themselves? Disregarding survival tactics against cannibalistic monsters when the douchebag is the one killing zombies is just stupid. We're not going to kill zombies because Nick the Dick is doing all this. Meh. It doesn't make sense. Now we get another tune. The song associated with Nick sounds like it took way too much inspiration from Survivor's Eye of the Tiger. Whether or not it could be considered too similar is up to you, but the song has Nick's group having fun as they kill zombies. The lyrics say this: "When it comes to killing zombies, I'm the top of my class. While you've been hiding, I've been kicking some ass." Again, painting him to be a douchebag for having this line of thinking while John just sits there pouting. But why? You kinda have to be this way in order to survive. Although with how much Nick treats it like it's a game and using stuff like game controllers and watermelons to kill zombies, it would also be putting yourself and your friends in harm's way, haphazardly taking on the undead with useless stuff like that. But hey, if a melon can break open a zombie's skull, or a zombie is so easily distracted by a slab of meat on a fishing line, you gotta wonder if this is actually a threat. Nick's group spends a majority of the song goofing with the zombies, and it's supposed to show how immature and self-absorbed they are, but all it really does is show how easily the zombies are fended off and deflates their overall presence because a bunch of teenagers goofing around can take out a horde of undead, while the main cast are seemingly deliberately putting themselves in harm's way with no rhyme or reason. The school staff starts preparing to evacuate and are prepared to abandon the vice principal, who wants them all to stay indoors and still await rescue. He is just wanting to retain his power over all of these people since he was supposed to take over the role of head principal at the end of the school year. This loss of power gets to his head and turns him into this zombie movie's true monster. After the bullies fight the undead, the entire group is just casually walking around a busy shopping center without a single zombie around, no interference whatsoever. All of this so Anna can friend zone John as they push each other in a shopping cart. Lucky for them, zombies know when two best friends are having a heart-to-heart. You wouldn't want a zombie attacking you when you've crammed yourself in a shopping cart now, would ya? The group stops to look inside a darkened Christmas tree department store, saying it's a shortcut to get to the school. Because of course going into an environment where you can barely see is a preferable way of travel.
Certain death is so much fun.
They acknowledge it's dumb, but still do it. You gotta love when horror movie characters know what they're doing is shit, but still do it. Their justification for going this way? Because it's going to be dark everywhere soon anyway, so you might as well. I guess they got the inspiration from Left 4 Dead by taking the most asinine route to get to safety. Chris pulls a diary of the dead and records the progress they make with his phone, and does so by leading the group. I will say the contrast to the yellow light against the Christmas trees here is spooky and neat to look at, good cinematography. They stop when they see something stirring in the bushes to find it's just a Christmas decoration, faking them and the audience out only to have actual zombies ninja attack them from the brush. I guess it's a callback to Zombieland 2. Wait, Zombieland 2 didn't exist yet. So it's just the typical plot convenience for dumb zombies to ambush survivors. This causes everyone to separate briefly. Nick's group of unnamed friends all get bit and instantly turn off screen. Because of course they do. Man, that turn time is insane. Nick is unable to kill them as Anna merely stuns them. Chris stands there filming everything, and as the group of undead lumber towards him, he stumbles and desperately grasps for his dropped phone. I guess to call back to that song from earlier and how we rely on technology to chronicle every little thing, but more so, it's so that a character can stupidly fall and put themselves in danger at the last second for no reason, especially for a zombie to come out of nowhere to attack him since the other zombies were too slow to attack him in the first place. This whole scene felt really forced and unnecessary just to thin the cast down. Never makes sense for people that know how to survive at first just becoming stupid suddenly. No person would want to go in a dark department store that most likely has zombies. Most, if not all people, would opt to just run around the building. Well, they get to safety by shutting a door and start breaking down mentally over if anyone is still alive out there. Apparently that shortcut was not worth it because in those few minutes of being attacked, it's already dark outside anyways. I guess in Scotland, it goes from midday to night in the span of 3 minutes. John starts telling Anna every name of Santa's reindeer now, just randomly, like unopted, like just saying all their names right after her ex talks shit to him. I guess to remind us again that this is indeed set during Christmas. The zombie silently walks up and bites his hand. Apparently being friend-zoned means you're not worthy enough to survive till the end. He screams bloody murder as over a dozen zombies silently come around the corner. Remember, zombies only groan, wheeze, and gurgle when wandering around in sight of survivors, never when the plot needs them to be caught off guard. John and Anna share a sad moment together as the reality of his bite wound sets in. Despite screaming, none of the horde goes towards him so they can have this moment, only directing attention to them when Anna yells for him to get up. Knowing his fate, John sacrifices himself to save Anna, becoming a friend zone buffet. Man, this could have been prevented if they didn't stop and instantly pal around every time they got to safety. John's character felt pretty shallow, to be honest, having his death supposed to be this grand, sad event of sacrificial whatever, when it's just an obligatory zombie movie character death via bite with no build-up and payoff. I guess it's to subvert expectations that he would win Anna's heart eventually, or to show that whole nice guys always finish last. Either way, we won't be missing John anytime soon, and his death causes Anna to go berserk. She swings a giant candy cane around and hits them with the blunt end of it and not the sharpened shiv end, apparently with enough force to kill each zombie. Weird it has that sharpened end, but it's never used here. I guess to save on special effects. Anna's rage gets them through the horde attack though, and they finally get to the school. Quite the shortcut. Vice Principal Savage is just sitting there eating Christmas dinner at the front door as they get in. The door is not locked or barricaded, mind you, but why would it be in a zombie apocalypse? They get to the cafeteria and are locked inside with the staff and families all turned into zombies eating corpses. Savage earns his namesake as he divulges he let in the undead so he could retain control of the school's population. Because why not, right? After all, we know that people are the true monsters. I guess the dude just wanted job security. He blows a whistle to attract the horde's attention towards the teenagers and starts singing the villain song of the film, singing Nothing's Gonna Stop Me Now, which is really hearkening to Shaun of the Dead, ranting as he kicks around the safe room kitchen he is in. Literally just a song accentuating how much he hates teenagers and how they act, saying they were all zombies already and they were all empty-headed, that youth is wasted on the young and that they slowed him down. Then why the hell was he in the educational profession? He is so against teenagers, but he's about to be a principal. Why? Literally, this character is evil just to have evil, but not a fun evil, you know, like how cartoon movies have evil just to be evil characters, just a cookie cutter kind of guy where the movie needs a villain with no substance. This guy makes no sense. Well, Anna breaks the barricade as they get into the kitchen. Steph goes to get her car with Chris as Anna and Nick go to find her dad. Since things are winding down for the characters and reaching the climax, everyone has a heart-to-heart with each other. Chris finds his girlfriend over his dead grandmother's body, who died of a heart attack. Honestly, as sad as this is supposed to be, they only briefly mentioned her heart problems and then largely forgot about all of the school's characters for most of the movie. So this did not feel earned and was just more of, we need a sad moment of loss so we can tug at your heartstrings. The heart-to-heart moments continue as Anna directly confronts Nick over his one-night stand. He brushes it off and then admits he killed his dad after his father got bit, admitting his dad's last words to him were not to disappoint him for once. His character arc of being a bully that had sex with her and then ditched her is revealed because he had a bad relationship at home and that's why he acts this way, I guess? But he breaks down in tears and Anna consoles him. I guess his story has come full circle. I really don't know. Now that they have both cried though, the zombies smell their tears because I guess that's how they work and start emerging from the room next door to attack them. As I always say when it comes to zombies in movies, they are always polite enough to wait until main characters have had their full discussions before attacking. Steph, Chris, and Lisa go to the vice principal's office to retrieve the keys he confiscated earlier in the movie, only to find the office is swarmed with zombies. Steph stealths her way to the confiscation box. She does relatively fine, even pocketing some alcohol until she turns on a vibrator and makes this dumb-ass noise. Literally drawing the attention of zombies because she had to be dramatic over a shaky wakey dicky wiki. She acquires the keys and finds Chris and Lisa have plugged in their phone to the TV to show their recording off to the zombie horde, and they're distracted by it. Apparently this is a plot element that zombies are distracted by TV, but there's no way for them to have known this. You couldn't have just thrown an object into the corner to draw their attention that way? Nope, because we have to have the camera guy's story come full circle in a stupid ass way. To get away, they start crawling in the middle of the horde as the camera gives a message of being low on battery. The zombies are no longer distracted, and without the distraction, the zombies suddenly see them on the ground and attack. Steph literally crawled through them a few minutes ago with no issue without the TV being on. She was even making noises frequently, but the zombies didn't attack her. But because the TV turned off, the zombies magically are like, who turned off our TV? And now they can suddenly see Chris and Lisa. In the chaos, both Chris and Lisa get bit. Chris flicks the phone back on, and the video turns back on to instantly distract the zombies again, despite them knowing the people are right there, that a meal is right in front of them. This is all just a shallow way of having Chris's obsession with recording everything helping in the end, despite it not really doing so since it got him and his girlfriend bit. But I guess it's also to show how zombies mindlessly watch TV, because that's how we are. We mindlessly watch TV. We're zombies. That's how zombies act. Either way, a lot of these deaths feel like there was supposed to be a lot more to their stories, development, and progression, but because the runtime was slimmed down to make it a zombie Christmas musical, their development was streamlined in the writing process to just be assumed by the audience through brief mentions in song. There is a lot of dark and sad moments that they said they wrote out after McHenry passed away, but a lot of these sad moments still feel like they were forced in just to hit a few chords. At this point, I'm forgetting it's a zombie Christmas musical, and it's just feeling like a generic zombie movie. Anna gets to the auditorium where the vice principal has bound her father to a chair as a prisoner on the Christmas stage from the beginning of the movie. Apparently, Vice Principal Savage planned this all out. He kept this one parental figure alive and trapped him them as a grand show for Anna's finale? Why would he do this? These two had arguments before in the movie, but he had no way of knowing she or any other person outside of the school was still alive. Remember, no one shared contact with each other throughout this entire movie. And why would he go so out of the way to take a school janitor hostage in the hopes that a teenage girl would return to school? What is he trying to achieve here? But there's a song because it's the finale, and a musical climax needs a song. But it's just her killing a bunch of zombies, this time with the pokey end of the candy cane, and she has no issue while Savage dances on stage. They're both singing about giving a hell of a show. Remember, this started from a Christmas show at the beginning of the movie that the main character was never a part of in any way, and she didn't even spectate it. She wasn't engaged in it at all. She was at the bowling alley during the whole thing. She gets to the stage, unbinds her father, and they just leave the psychopath alone. Why? The guy that literally is the cause of everyone's death in the school, and you just let him arm himself? The preceding scuffle has her father get bit in the leg as the vice principal is knocked into the horde of dead to be eaten alive. The father reveals his bite wound, and Anna reluctantly leaves him behind with Nick taking her away. The father had no development except being like, oh, I need to be a dad, and then he finally reveals himself and he's like, oh, I'm already bit, whatever, I'm dead. Then the villain of the movie being another shallow case of nothing that gives nothing memorable to look back on. Everything just happens, and I feel bad as I wanted to like something from these characters in this movie, but just felt like it was dining on cookie-cut versions of character tropes. I mean, stays true to the original purpose of this being a spoof on High School Musical. None of the characters are really stand-out-ish, but it just doesn't translate well for me to a zombie movie, which that genre also has a lot of cookie-cutter elements, so I can't say much, but honestly, it's just not memorable. So they get outside, and Nick and Anna stand back to back for the final song of the film, just looking at the dead surrounding them, their words chiming over their lost friends, loved ones, and innocence, saying they've paid their price for their memories. Which, honestly, these lyrics don't make too much sense and are just very pessimistic about them just being like, yeah, that today has sucked, and we're ready to die. This song showing shots of the ones that sacrificed themselves now living as zombies. Nick and Anna silently await being eaten alive by the horde, only to have Steph pull up in her car. We have one more callback to Shaun of the Dead. If you remember those action shots of minimal things that goes on with Shaun pouring a cup of coffee, well, we have that suddenly near the end of this movie, but it's to turn on the car so they can drive away. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief, and with a tear in their eyes, they set out to destinations unknown. And a jump scare of Zombie Santa for promotional material, and to remind you one last time that this was indeed a zombie Christmas musical. Overall, Ryan McHenry's vision for a zombie musical posthumously released turned out okay. The effects and gore were great, the slapstick comedy at parts were great. However, the zombies themselves were extremely inconsistent in how they acted, going from being able to be killed by the dozens by teens playing around, to being able to take out auditoriums full of adults, and being able to SEAL Team 6 level stealth kill other people that knew what zombies were. The idea was executed okay across the movie, but the musical portions felt like they detracted from the overall scope of the story and just added to the runtime in the end. The fact that Christmas was part of its narrative lent absolutely nothing to the story, possibly just an attempt to give the film a holiday theme to try and be a yearly Christmas watch for zombie and musical fans. The characters all fell flat in their individual stories, especially the title character Anna, whose supposed journey of finding herself and wanting to break out into the world was barely explored. The cuck, best friend John, just half-assed doing doing stuff to win her heart, but not really win anywhere, to just be a sacrifice for her so she can live. Chris and Lisa were both horribly written teenagers, one being obsessed with filming to his own survival detriment, and his girlfriend literally just doing a sexy song with no other substance. Nick having barely any introduction in the beginning and being labeled a one-night stand douchebag who swoops in, replaces John, kills some zombies, cries a little bit, and I guess becomes her love interest again without any development that really made sense. I don't know what the message of his existence in the movie was there. Steph was just in the movie to have a car and to have funny one-liners. Everyone else, the adults and everything, were just there as background characters that were made to die, and nothing else to feign a sad death scene. The crux of the movie relying on the power-hungry vice principal was so dumb and out of left field, apparently holding a grudge against the main character to have a finale without any kind of build-up towards that. The vice principal was more mad at Lisa, but Lisa was the only teenager alive in the high school, so why did he not have a grudge against her and had a grudge against Anna? The point of the movie being the biggest draw of a musical didn't really do anything for me. I already dislike musicals, but was willing to give this a chance. But out of the 12 songs included, I felt like only 2 or 3 contributed to the actual plot and narrative in any reasonable and meaningful way. Others just felt like anime filler you want to skip because they add nothing to the story at large. I said it at the start of the video that I can be a cynical zombie tuber. I gave the film a fair shot and it was okay for a one-time watch. I would recommend it just for a fun drunk watch through with your friends. It's a parody of High School Musical, so if you're into that thing and you like zombies, go for it. But I mean, the High School Musical craze was well over a decade ago. Overall, I would say this film is just a 5 out of 10, more like a 4 out of 10. It's painfully average with lots of scene bloat, forgettable characters, and unremarkable zombie moments. That ends this look into the Scottish Yuletide zombie apocalypse of Anna and the Apocalypse. Did you enjoy the film? Do you feel like I said something wrong about it? What did you like or dislike? Let me know down below. Thanks to QuickFlix for helping me bring in the holiday cheer and editing this video. Check out his channel for awesome movie recaps. Big thanks to my Patreon patrons and YouTube channel donors who help the channel progress. If you want to be featured on this list here, just donate $1 on Patreon or become a YouTube channel member on my YouTube page and you can be right here. It's just $1. Until next time, I'm Zackass, aka Wow Such Gaming. Stay happy, stay healthy, ho ho ho, have a Merry Christmas, and stay wow.